Welcome once again to the Waters and Stanton video channel. I'm in my mobile home at the moment, not palatial, but it's adequate. But it's given me the opportunity of doing quite a lot of mobile, HF mobile. And I've had quite a few inquiries about various aspects of HF mobile. So I thought what I'd do is I'd go through in detail what I use and explain why I use it. To me, this setup is, I was going to say, the perfect mobile setup. Well, there isn't a perfect mobile setup because there are variables. The vehicle, the power you want to run, the band you want to run on. I've centered my activity on 20 meters, the 20 meter handband, because at the moment that tends to be open most of the day and a good part of the early evening, particularly as in the summer as we are at the moment. We get the extended light evening hours, so it's a pretty good band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the various aspects. I mean, basically it's the transceiver, it's the aerial, it's the power supply. I think most ham operators these days use a separate battery. It makes sense, it doesn't risk the battery running down in your vehicle, and a lot of the modern vehicles make it very difficult to pick up 12 volts anyway. So a separate battery is a good idea. You're completely independent of the vehicle battery and there's less risk of picking up noise. Transceiver, it's a wide selection you've got. You can run 100 watts, you can run 1 watt to all stations in between. Some even run 400 watts, but we're going into very specialised territory there. There is a sort of a sweet spot, I think, for power. Around about 20-25 watts, doesn't drain the battery too much, and is adequate power to give you contacts. And as for antennas, well, again, the sky is the limit, literally, I suppose. You don't want an antenna too tall. I think I've said in previous videos, I don't operate actually on the move these days. I think it's a bit dangerous, so I park up. So my mobile operation is static mobile, if that is the correct term. And you want an antenna that you can put up pretty quickly, that's pre-resonated and that works. And you'll see what I use in a moment. So let's just take a look at the gear I use. It's not perfect, but for me, it's given me a lot of good results. And at the moment, I've got no real reason to change it. What better reason to stick with what you've got? Anyway, let me show you. For power on the radio, I use the Jackery 240, which is a 240 amp hour battery. This offers me 12 volts or 240 volts, and for 12 volts I put a cigar plug on the end of the power supply to the transceiver. At standby, the transceiver draws about 7 watts, as you can see here on the screen, and that equates to about 36 hours use. And here the G90 is my transceiver, and I've set it up to run 20 watts on FM. The standby current on receive is 7 watts, and as I transmit 20 watts, it'll now climb up to around about 56 watts drawn from the power supply. That means I could run FM 20 watts for up to 5 hours. And if I switch over to SSB, the average power will be at least half that, so I'll get 10 plus hours use out of a fully charged power supply. The magnetic mount I use is 14 centimeters diameter with an SO239 socket on it. I modified mine by putting a right angle adapter on it for reasons you'll see in a minute. The antenna I favour is the Diamond CL series. This is the 20 meter centre loaded version. The antenna base is PL259, so that means it'll fit into lots of different antenna bases, magnetic or boot mount, etc. By undoing a section at the base, you expose the knuckle joint, which may be useful if you want to fold over the antenna when you're in a garage or something like that. All the antennas in the CL range are described as centre loaded, although the loading coil is about a third up from the base. And at the top of the loading coil is the connection for the resonator whip. That connection is made by a couple of Allen screws, and with the resonator whip on the antenna, it measures a total of approximately 2.2 meters long. One thing I always add at the feed point is a line isolator using a ferrite core. And the coax cable on the magnetic mount is RG58, which is fine for HF. And here's the reason why I have to mount the antenna on the side of the vehicle. You see, the roof of this vehicle is corrugated. I can't put a magnetic mount on the top and get enough capacity because of the gaps in between the corrugation. I need a flat surface. So I reasoned that if I put the magnetic mount on the side of the vehicle with a flat surface, I'd get much better results. And I do. I get lots and lots of capacity contact, as best as I can possibly hope for, like that. The only thing is, you've got to remember that you want a centre-loaded whip. You don't want the resonator coil at the base there, because that would be very close to the vehicle panel, and that's not what you want. It would detune. So go for a centre-loaded whip like the Diamond, the CL series, mount it on the side, and it may be the answer. You've got a truck or something like that. Not everybody's got a mobile home, I know, but if you've got a truck and you're trying to figure out how to mount the antenna, try mounting it on the side like that. It really works extremely well. So that's the gear that I use. Any surprises? Magnetic mount? Well, magnetic mount is convenient. If you're going to operate on the lower frequency bands, you need more contact with the vehicle in a larger area for capacity. So you probably need a three-legged mount or something like that. Or you need to, dare I say it, drill a hole in your vehicle. Gracious me. No, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, if you're going to operate on the lower frequency bands, you do need to make a bit more of the earth connection. But on 20 meters and above, the mag mount I used, what is it, 14 centimeters, wasn't it? 14 centimeters is fine. It works for me, and I'm sure it'll work for you. Coax cable, well, it's RG58. That's what comes with the mag mount. And I've seen on some websites people talking about they're going to reduce the length of the coax by 2 or 3 foot to reduce the losses. You know, with a 5 meter length of RG58 coax, there's virtually no loss to worry about at all. It's less than a dB. And if you don't believe me, go onto Google, type in coax losses. There are plenty of tables there. You'll see for yourself that you're not going to lose much at all. It's a fraction of a dB, so don't get hung up on coax cable. And it's a great opportunity to get away from the noise at home, isn't it? Go down to the local seaside. If you're near the seaside, not everybody is near the seaside, in the middle of the country. But if you happen to be near the seaside, then go down to the seaside, park up near the salt water and take advantage of it. I did an exercise like that in Scotland a few months ago, a salt water lock, and that was great. So if you go down to the seaside, then you're going to get something like about 3S points improvement in performance. Well worth having. But just to get away from the noise is good. You'll hear stations that you couldn't hear at home, which is not bad. That assumes, of course, that they haven't got a high noise level and they can't hear you, but that's another story. It's a chance to get out, different kind of operating, great fun, and even if you only have a few contacts, so what? You've got out into the fresh air and you've tried your best, and that's all you can do in ham radio. So thank you once again for watching this video. I hope it's been informative. It's very short, and it's really a summary of what I use myself. Take care, get outside in the fresh air, try it out, or portable operation, same sort of thing. And until then, enjoy ham radio, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.